clearly, Waddle getting his huge contract, Xavier Howard money coming due, and the looming tour extension or not. Huge hope for some, dread for others. These are all big stories that are going on right now. I know a lot of people are covering those. I'll get into it eventually. In certain aspects, not the obvious ones in a little bit. But I found something interesting, and I had to share it with you guys. I was doing the X-Twitter stuff, found some tweets, some really interesting ones that led me down a rabbit trail. I put this together on the live Friday night, covered a lot of it. But not everybody who watches me watches the lives. So I wanted to get into this in detail and put it out here because to me, you know, there's the old school guys, kind of like me. I'm in the middle a little bit. They believe in the physical. They want the O-lines, the trenches to be taken care of. And they're concerned that this team's not going to get to where it needs to go unless these trenches are taken care of. I tend to agree with that. But the new school people, like, listen, we got good enough here. We got all these skills, talent, and it can get it done as well. And I'm a little bit of the new school guy. I see possibilities here. So I'm kind of in the middle, leaning a little bit towards the left, the old school guys. And all that stuff is really critical. But I'm going to show you some statistics from last year that were shocking. And if you see this stuff, which is totally fixable, or not, but I think mostly fixable. What could have been last year for the Dolphins, and what could be this year if these get resolved? Especially when you add in Jonnu, you add in hopefully a healthy Achane, you add in OBJ, and you add in Wright, the run back over there. I keep forgetting his first name. I think it's Jalen. Too many Jalen's. So I found a site that I haven't used in a while. It's called NFLsavant.com, and you can put the parameters in there, and it coughs up the information based on the parameters you put in. And I was like, let me play around with this. Whoa! So I'm not going to do a long one today, but I wanted to be succinct because I wanted to be focused on this. So take a look at this image here. 3 graphics. Now, the top part, you can see us all the way to the left. We were, 28th in the league. Offensive holding calls, 40 yards or less to the opponent's red zone. So we had 17 holding calls on the season, which was a lot. We improved in a lot of areas in our discipline, but that wasn't one of them. We were one of the worst. I think third or fourth worst. But out of the 17, 12 were as we were marching in for some sort of points. And you're going to see in the next 2 graphics how detrimental this was, along with some other stuff, and how it could be easily corrected. And if it is, what could be the possibilities, even if this offensive line isn't hot to trot and his defense needs some time to get together. So the middle graphic over here is the offensive breakdown, all downs, 40 yards to the opponent's red zone. And we were in 12 plus to go on first, second, third, or fourth down 63 times. We were ranked 28th, worst in the league. And so every time, this means you were off schedule 63 drives, 40 yards or less to the opponent's red zone. You know how much harder that makes it to score? And I think that you can't blame Tua on this stuff, or maybe you delay a game here or there. Most of this was screen passes, tackle behind the line of scrimmage, runs, tackle behind the line of scrimmage, some kind of penalty throwing us off schedule. But it gets even worse, which means it could be better this year because this is so bad, it could only get better. So the bottom one over here, this is third down and 12 yards to go. Opponent 40 to red zone as you're going into score. And we had 21 of them. We were 30th least in the league. So at every turn, you could see by this graphic, we were hindering ourselves in a major way. It wasn't necessarily the opponent, although some of them were. Screens, tackle behind the line of scrimmage, run, stop behind the line of scrimmage, end around, stop behind the line of scrimmage. And some of that has to do with McDaniels calling the edge stuff and the finesse stuff. But clearly, if we can mitigate some of this, we were one of the top teams in the league in scoring and offensive output. And if we were on schedule just a little bit more, this was downright terrible. And, we've improved. Like I said, this team was very undisciplined in 22, got way more discipline in 23. But this holding issue was a major problem. Now, I don't know who held what and when, where, why, and how. I know Jackson was one of the biggest culprits. Maybe he can find his way to not doing it this year. But that can be mitigated. Not getting yourselves in first, second, third, and fourth, and 12 plus is a key. And if you go back and you look, even with our gutted team as far as injuries, it was a few plays here or there, a few points here or there that could have made all the difference. Now, we're not going to have Hunt. We're not going to have Connor. I understand that on offense. We've added some skill. I understand that. We don't know what this whole thing is going to play out to be, but this is stuff for the most part that is in our control, fixable, and will pay huge dividends to this offense. And if this offense can do what it's supposed to do, when you got a heavy price in your receiving group, you've invested all in your skills, then maybe this defense can have its time to get together, come together at the end of the season, and we might not have the collapse we had last year. So I just thought these were amazing stats and showed how many we were shooting ourselves in the foot with the double barrel shotgun, like way too much. That's insane. 63 plays, 12 plus to go. So guys, we don't know what's going to happen. Teron could stay healthy. He could get injured. Tua could stay healthy. He could get injured. This defense could play great. But this clearly says last year, the injuries, a lot of this shooting yourself in the foot could have turned this whole season around. And if that stuff plays out this year, then maybe our Dolphins will be in the postseason and win one and maybe more. Hopefully, we'll see. It's coming up soon. So anyway, guys, I thank you for your time. Curtis saying, be well, go Fins. Curtis out. Start building your own online sportsbook today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.